Hey guys, welcome to the next episode in this, I guess, coding series. This episode we're going to go over the installation, how to get it, how to set up, and we'll also do a small fix-up, so you guys can also see the workflow, how to push to GitHub, make a new pull request, and then merge in your new changes. This will be fun. So, first off, let's go to the GitHub page, and we're going to read through the README. So, getting started. These instructions will get you a copy of the project up and running, of course. Yeah, so prerequisites, what we're going to do is we're going to need to install these three things. So first of all, just go to Google, type in Node.js, go into Node.js, download this one, I guess, or whichever one's suitable for your operating system. And yeah, you can download and install Node.js that way. The next one's MongoDB, Mongo database. Just Google that, MongoDB, click on it, download, install, get MongoDB. This stuff is all free, so that's all good. Mongo Atlas is not really necessary, it's more of a cloud storage thing, so ignore that. Where is it? Download. Why do they do this? Get MongoDB. Ah, here we go, server. And the community server, this is the one you want. Also, something else I would recommend is MongoDB Compass Community. This brings up a graphical user interface to see your database instead of just text line, command line. It's hard to read it. And so when we open it up, this is what we'll see. I'll just start the server up very quickly, just so we can see what it looks like. I'll run through all the commands later in this video. And then once it's up, we press connect. It'll load into it. And then here we go. So these are the databases that I have set up. Pro Avalon uses this one. The naming could be a lot better, but I've stuck with it because I haven't been able to change it just yet. And in here you can see all the different stuff. So if we want to check a game record, we can open up game records and we can see the exact data of these test games. I believe these are bot games. Yeah, bot games. Cool. So I would recommend installing that as well. The next thing is Git. Git is important, very, very important. Git is pretty much how we're doing everything in terms of pushing to GitHub, doing pull requests and commits and stuff like that. So you can download them for your operating system here as well and install that. So once you have that all installed, here's what we're going to do. I would also recommend installing two more programs. One is called conemu. This is simply for Windows a multi-windowed command line, so you can have multiple windows open at the same time in one window, whereas you would have to have like 3 CMDs. You'd have a command prompt, and if you wanted to run a new process, you'd have to open another command prompt, and conemu just does all that in one menu, so that's what I'll suggest getting. The other program I suggest getting is Visual Studio Code by Microsoft. This is the IDE that I like to use. Yeah, it's really up to you. You can use Sublime Text, Atom, all of these other ones, that's fine as well. So, what we're going to do first is we're going to go to our folder. Let's take a look. Let's just create a new folder. So under tutorials, let's go here, new folder. I'm going to go Pro Avalon tutorial. Cool. So now we open up our terminal or our command line, and we cd to it. Let me just close these. Let's just close it. We'll start out again. So at the moment we're in cd users Victor, so we're going to go cd dot dot, which goes up one level, cd dot dot again, which goes up one level, and now we are in Victor stuff coding tutorials. cd means change directory, so v tab autocomplete, c tab autocomplete. Oh, need the backspace or backslash. C tab, T tab, and tab it again to go to tutorials. Cd into it. Now we're into that directory. And if we do ls, we don't dir. Those are the stuff inside the tutorials folder that we need to go into Prerequisites. Sorry. There we go. Now for the dir, it's an empty folder. Cool. Now back to the instructions. So we've done the cd to your folder. We're going to run this code. Copy, paste, and we're cloning into there. Okay, now it's done. Now we need to set up the required environment variables on your machine. So these environment variables are like global variables that are stored on your computer itself. So we need to set these three things. So let's go into, I just type environment variables and it'll come straight up for me in Windows. If you're on Mac or Linux, you probably have to look it up yourself. But then I go to here, and inside here, these are the system variables, and you can just press, so I have, let's see, where's an example? My secret key. This is the one I'm using for this computer. There's no use knowing my secret key on my computer if you guys are trying to hack into it. My secret key is only important for the server because that's open to the public, so that is obviously different to this. But pretty much my secret key is anything that you want. My second attempt. My platform is here, I set it to local, and database URL is set to this one as well. So you can press new, variable name would just be my secret key, and then just blah 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 blah, whatever you want, yeah? And press OK and it'll be done. So after that, we're going to go into MongoDB. So to start the database, we go into a command line. We go mongo. Right, so that's one instance. This is the database server. Now we need to open up a new window. The shortcut is Control-Shift-O for conmu. And then we need to go Mongo. So now this opens a little interface for us to communicate with the server. And to create the database, just type use the new resistance users, and that will set it up. If it doesn't exist, it'll create and then switch into it. If it exists, it'll just switch into it. Now I can run other commands to query the database and stuff like that, but I prefer to use Compass Community. It's just much easier to use and easy to see. Cool. So let's exit out of that. Then we need to install all the node modules. These are just the dependencies that the server uses. So npm install, and it'll install all of those for us. Up to date. Cool. 1 second. That doesn't look right. I see. It's because our clone has cloned it into another folder called ProAvalon. Okay. So we need to cd into ProAvalon and then npm install. Here we go. Let that run for a long time, and added 200 packages done. Cool. So the last step is to create an admin account. This is up to you. So how we run the server is we simply type node app.js and that'll run the server. Hopefully it should work. So it started on this IP for me. Cool. Otherwise, I would suggest running nodemon app.js. Nodemon's node monitor, it pretty much restarts the server whenever you save a new file or edit a file and save. Oh, we haven't cd'd into it. Sorry. There we go. So this is nodemon running right now. Okie doke, so now I'm going to open up a new tab. I usually use 3 tabs, one for the Mongo server, one for nodemon, and also to see all the error codes. But the last one is for Git. So let's actually start with VS Code for a moment. When you install VS Code, I would recommend going to this little button over here. It's for extensions, and I would install, let's see, which ones would I install? beautify CSS. It makes CSS look much prettier. You'd also need EJS language support, this one. There's about 3 EJS plugins, but this is the one I'm currently using. And IntelliSense maybe. Yeah, I would recommend IntelliSense for this. So install those 3 extensions and you're ready to go. Now I'm going to exit out of this folder because I like to work in my previous directory. So now I'm going to go back to tutorials and I'll just delete this. I'm curious to see how big it is. 15 megabytes. Not very big at all. Okay, and then coding, web dev, the new resistance. Cool. So this is where I usually do my coding in. This is where I have the server. So cd, pig, c, and then create 2 new tabs. Mongold at the bottom, node app.js in the center, and gits in the top. So now you would go file, open folder, and you'd go to your folder, open it up, so the new resistance select folder, and it would open up the folder for you. Now on the left side you see directories and files, so you can open them up as you need. And so, for example, app.js is all here, and it should be color-coded for you very nicely. It's a semicolon. Okay, so the issue that I want to get around to is this one. So Mayor, Sidewall Kill, and a bunch of other people have been saying acquaint here is spelled incorrectly. And yes, it is spelled incorrectly, and I didn't check that as I copy-pasted it from someone else. So let's go ahead and fix that now. So I believe this was inside the client side, the pop-up message that they see. That would be in assets, it would be in lobby, and it would probably be in sockets. So let's take a look, see if we can go welcome to Pro Avalon. There we go, here we go. So this is the string when we check to show the new player intro. And I'm going to press Alt-Z to word wrap so that the lines that go off into the side get wrapped around to one window width. So acquaint, the issue is right here. So A-C-Q-U-A-I-N-T. I'm just going to double check the spelling of that. Yes, that's correct. Cool. Now we can save this. Cool. Now how do we actually push this online? So before I make this change, I want to show you guys something. At the moment, if we do git branch, we are in the master branch. Okay? Let me actually show you what it looks like better, what a branch is. Let's take a look at insights. Let's look at dependency graph. No, co-frequency. No, network. Here we go, network. So, the black one is our master branch. The green ones and the blue and whatever branches off, these are branches off of the main master branch. So for example, this one, the blue one which I just last merged, this one was the big update branch for gameplay. Here we go. The purple one was another one, a changelog. The green was something else. Pretty much, they branch off the master one, they do their own commits, their own little code changes, and then they merge it back in. They merge it back in through a pull request. So, before we do anything, at the moment we're on master, for every new feature, we should have a new branch. So let's do git branch acquaint typo. Okay, now if we do git branch, we can see that acquaint typo is in there. Now we're going to check out into the acquaint typo branch, so we're going to like check it out, I guess, and that's where everything goes to. Acquaint typo, switch to branch, and just to make sure, git branch again to see that it is indeed selected. Cool. Now we can go ahead and do our change. So AQUAINT, awesome. Now we've saved that. We're going to go back into here, and we're going to go git add period. So this dot pretty much adds everything. If we do git status, we can see what has been modified. This file has been modified. And if we do git log, we can see a log of all the previous commits. You can press up and down to scroll. You can't scroll with your mouse because it messes with a thing. So that's how you view it. Every single log has a commit hash assigned with it. So if, for example, the previous commit was this and I wanted to see what I've actually changed, I can copy this commit, oops, copy this commit, Control C, and press Q to exit this menu. And then I can go git diff space that hash. And it'll show me what's changed. So the minus is what was taken out, the plus is what was added. There is another piece of program that I would also suggest if you want, which is the desktop version of Git. I personally like working in this one more, but if I'm seeing the differences, for example, it might be easier in a graphical user interface like this. So if you open it up, changes, you can see in a much clearer way what's changed. You know, all the files, it'll list it out. History is pretty much the Git log, but they both have their pros and cons. I use both, but I tend to like doing all the commits and the pushing and pulling through here. So we've done git add. Now we're going to go git commit. So there's two ways you can do a commit. If you have a short message, just do -m and put a message here. You can do acquaint typo fix, and you can press enter. Or if you have a long description, just do git commit. It'll open up a new word or a notepad thing, and you can type in AQUAINT typo fix. And you can do new lines and make it look all pretty. Test 1, test 2. Fixed the typo. For example, Control S, close this, and it'll save. Now when we do git log, we can now see we have an acquaint typo fix, test 1, test 2, typo fix, and you can see that this last commit was on the master. And you can see every single other fix we've ever made. Cool. Now we have that. How do we actually do anything with this? So whenever we git clone, there's always a link back to the original repository, which I think is by origin. So what we're going to do is git, we're going to go push. And so we're going to go push to the origin, so the Prerequisites repository. And what do we call our branch? I forgot. Git push origin, we're going to type in the name of our branch. And when we press enter, it'll push it up, that single branch. Okay, we're done. Now if we go back into GitHub, go back into code, we can see that there's now two branches, and it tells me I've recently pushed the branch less than a minute ago, compare and pull request. Cool. So let's go into branch to see if we didn't see that. We go into branch, we look at here, acquaint typo. We open it up, now we're in branch acquaint typo. Now we can create a new pull request. You can also do it through pull request here. But let's click new pull request. And these are the things that it suggests. Oh, this is what we want to say in our pull request. Be like, please accept this pull request. And we can see what we've changed, what we've added, and what, everything else. Create pull request. Now that this is done, if we go to pull request, we now see it here. Acquaint typo fix. Myself, an admin, or another moderator, or a senior code developer will come take a look at this, and they'll be like, okay. You can see the commits. The checks are automated checks, like test cases, and you can also see the benefit of git commit versus git commit -m. You can hide the nitty-gritty stuff into a ... So it'll be hidden away. There's your hash. You can copy it. You can see the code. Files changed. It just looks nice on here as well. You can also do unified, which will do it inline, I guess, instead of a 2-column side-by-side comparison. And yeah, so that's how this works. There'll be comments, there'll be issues, and when they're all done, someone will merge pull request, and I'll confirm the merge, and then it's all perfectly fine and merged. Then we can delete the branch if we want, or we can leave it back. And now if we go back into the master branch, we can now see we've increased the number of commits. If we look into it, we can now see we've merged the pull request 108, and all the previous commits inside it will be added right below it. So here is the one that we've just made, and of course we can open it up, see what's changed, and yeah, you can also see where it came from. So it came from issue 108 or pull request 108. If we open into it, we can see that it was a closed pull request and it was from acquaint typo fix. Cool. So that's pretty much all I wanted to get through in this episode. Yeah, it's quite simple. One thing we do need to note is, now that we finished that, we want to go back to our master. If we did some new changes in master, and then we tried to push it, there'll be a small issue. So for example, let's do another change. Let's, remember that semicolon that was missing here? Let's do this. So fill in that semicolon, we're going to save this. We're going to go git add dot git commit -m fixed a semicolon, fixed a missing semicolon, like that. If we do git log, we can see it in here, but now we're in master, right? So if we try to push straight to origin like this, what's going to happen is it's going to tell us that our client is outdated or our server is outdated. Failed to push because updates were rejected because remote contains work that you do not have locally. So because we've pushed up the acquaint fix, we need to update it on our side before we can push up again. That just makes sure that any code that you push up is updated and new. So simply git pull from origin, but you can just do git pull, will update our site completely. Just like that. So you can see the readme's changed, the assets, the stockers.4js has changed, and now we can do git push, so up, origin master. And I'm pushing straight from our master branch, but it'd be best if every single push was made through a new branch and you requested or pull requested it in. So now if we go into proavalon.com, because I push straight to master, only I can push straight to master because I'm the owner of this, we can see, here we go, fix the missing semicolon. And it goes straight into the master branch. And you can see that change here. So that's how the general workflow goes. If you have any issues, leave a comment in the video and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks.